Alright, welcome back to This Week in Jump, Part 2. Next on the list is number 13, Chainsaw Man.
Oh, really? Man, I put Chainsaw Man so high up.
I'll explain.
Okay.
After basically the peak for me right now for Chainsaw Man was the chapter where we saw the entire city getting demolished. Introducing the idea of the gun devil into the mythos. This chapter is good. It's just the other things that came out this week I felt were a little bit more interesting to me.
Okay.
I still liked seeing the weird the devil. The devil with the head, with its foot and arm.
Yeah,
hand.
it's atrocious looking, and it just jumps up towards one of Aki's cohorts. And Aki's, mentor? Himino just grabs it out of the air. But not with her hand, with the
Ghost devil.
The ghost devil that she sacrificed her eye to.
I told you the eye.
Yeah.
I was I'm pretty sure she's using a power from her eye or something like that.
Yeah, and that's really cool, that she is allowed just the hand portion. And that thing is strong.
Yeah, power actually kind of taunts them after they get rid of it. And they're like, oh, well, that wasn't actually the devil that has the gun devil part. And teases, oh, what if I were to kill Kobine? And she's like, just makes the arm appear and you see it just choke power.
Yeah. And power maybe can see the hand, maybe can't, but it doesn't, she's not able to get a release from that grasp.
Nope.
At any point, that hand can just snap their necks and just stop them from moving. That's a big power move to put in front of a devil.
Yeah, power got power checked.
Yeah.
So you have them climbing up the stairs to go up to the next level of the hotel to keep searching, and they wind up passing the 8th floor 2 times.
Yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs to go check, just to see. And he sees them again. He's utterly confused
because he's above them.
Yeah,
I went down, but I came up somehow.
Yeah, I had no idea.
The visual frustration on his face was great.
Yeah.
And so next, Himino goes down the stairs again and asks Kobine to hold up a peace sign. I guess to make sure that they're not cloning them, or they're seeing multiple versions of themselves or something like that, illusions. Mm-hmm. Nope. Winds up behind Araya, to their confusion again.
Yeah. Aki even goes through a door, through a bedroom, to the other side where there's supposed to be a window. He goes through the window,
and there's another bedroom.
And he shows up behind them. What is this fun house?
Reminds me of a JoJo stand. I think there was one that was kind of like that.
Yeah, they even try cutting through the floor, or through the ceiling, end up in the floor.
Yes,
the same area. They're so confused about what is causing this kind of domain to appear, as well as when help should be able to come and fix this. But then they look at the time,
and it's frozen.
And it's essentially frozen. Time, they will never show up. The only thing that will really get to them, maybe, is thirst and hunger.
Yep. We do get a little bit of backstory, kind of expositionally, from Himino, where she says that she only took this job because her parents forced her to put her brother through college because he's gifted.
Kobini.
Mm-hmm. So it was either become a devil hunter or go into a sex worker.
Yeah, which
I was
that's so sad.
She makes a real. This is supposed to be her crying face, but this looks like a very lewd face that she makes.
The
Power laughs.
Yeah, I don't think she was really taught. She knows she's making a face even that is not normal, and even a devil is making fun of you. But Denji has the best plan out of everyone. If we're in a perpetual state of timelessness, and it's this early in the morning, just go to bed. And he has the most peaceful like sleeping face out of any character I've ever seen, and Aki just with a bead of sweat on his cheek just says he's asleep. Like, I love this man, I love this character. He's the main protagonist. I'm not gonna figure this out. If anything changes,
Wake me up.
You guys will wake me up. I'm going to bed. Hero.
Legendary. Yeah. So I could have put that higher just for that last part, but I was like, did he really just go to sleep? Back on track. Number 12, Hell Warden. I really enjoyed this chapter because we now learn that the reason this spirit is the way that they are is because they go from wanting to get time to stay in the mortal realm. After they can get that easily and they're extremely powerful, their next thing that they want or desire is entertainment. So that's why he's going around and constantly taking out the line that Haguma is from.
Yeah, and that kind of goes in line with spirits and demons in real world folklore, where places are haunted. These ghosts, these apparitions, these demons want entertainment, so they move plates around. They manipulate objects. They take control of puppets and such. Like, they're doing this for their own amusement. Mm-hmm. They're not doing this because they're trapped. They're doing this because it's fun and something to do.
They like seeing the humans around them's reaction.
Yeah.
And Higuma actually sends Araya away with Roku, so that way he can focus on fighting.
Without her being, number one, in the way, number two,
safe. The Molten is just very deranged.
I love the black on white, just simple.
And then you have the copper foaming from his mouth.
Yeah.
And Roku's worried because he's not as strong as his dad was
when he fought this
and lost
this demon. And the only reason this demon is chose to attack Higuma this early was because he was told by someone else that they were going to go after him. He wanted to be the one to end this bloodline.
Yes. So Haguma wastes no time using more of his Zaiju.
Molten copper demon even gives him a compromise. If you're able to just hurt me, then this will be much more entertaining. He might just let him live if he's able to just hurt him.
Gratify himself.
Yeah.
And the molten part that he actually used to cut off his arm actually is now going through his veins. He's controlling it and tells him he's going to make it go into his heart and kill him.
So try to hit me before then.
Mm-hmm. And he dodges an attack but winds up losing his foot.
Yeah. And we have the panel that I really like right after, where
he's hurt
and he's able to summon up his other hand to replace his foot.
Yes.
And this is using 3 different abilities.
Yeah, you have his blade one, the hand with the ribbon.
Yeah, and then his own Hell Warden
outfit.
Outfit. His own battle gear.
Yeah, this panel and his face right here, right before we see that it's going to be a flashback of his father.
Yeah,
I was already sold.
Asuma, and his dad looks just as cool as Higuma, and using a giant battle axe, kind of like pole arm, is really cool. I like it.
So because he actually was using his ingenuity to create an artificial foot
Uh-huh.
so that way he could keep fighting was cool.
Yeah.
I was like, that was definitely
Yeah.
nice.
I'm not really looking forward to more flashback in the middle of this fight,
You feel like it's gonna draw away from it.
but I think they might be building up someone that's going to show up and help him. I sure hope someone shows up and comes and helps him, because Higuma right now does not have the ability to take him on by himself.
No. Next on my list is number 11, Neolation.
Okay, close.
This is the flashback chapter.
Yeah, where we find out where Neo really gets started.
And we find out that he was apparently teased for being weird as a
Yeah.
kid, air quotes.
Where
And
he's really just smart.
he's just doing math, and the other kids tease him for it. And random cleaning cloths fall from the sky. They really just fall from the house of a little girl who asks him to get them for her. And she gets him. He gets them for her, brings them to them, and they get inside, and then they start having like a little play date. She rewards him with like the offer of candies and sweets and cocoa.
Yeah. So it's nice little gestures for kids to other kids. And we find out that she has a laptop which she uses for entertainment, but she's not very good with her kanji. But Neo is, so he's able to help type what she wants to see. She wants to see the cat island that's in Japan, where I want to go there as well, where there's just a bunch of cats that not necessarily abandoned, but that just live there and have taken over, and you can go there and just visit. And a lot of these cats are very docile because there's no main predators there to really go after them.
Yeah.
She's ecstatic about seeing so many different things in just a couple of hours. Like she's really happy.
Forgot to mention also her name is Tobari. And because she would always see him playing by himself, and she makes the comment of, "Oh, weird, was that why you were always alone?" Because that's what everybody basically called him. And
it's like, how do you know that?
Neo, whose actual name was Arata, kind of shuts down at this. Like, he gets visibly angry and says that's none of her business, and she shies away, thinking that she could understand him because she was always alone, just like he was always alone. And this makes him feel awful for it.
Yeah, because
and then
she was watching him from a distance with the telescope. She was watching all of the children, but then started paying more attention to Arata because he was alone.
Her mood changes so quickly though, from being like sad and upset at that.
She doesn't have time to focus on one emotion or the other. She goes with the flow.
So she's happy. She's like, we need to basically be in contact, and she actually gets her mother to agree to give him the old laptop, because apparently this one they have now is a newer one. And it was all her little plan to throw out those cleaning cloths, that way he would see them, and after he'd figured that out, she was like, no, that's not, no.
And make a friend.
Yes.
This is a mastermind level of intellect in this little girl.
Master manipulator.
Yeah, and it's great, but it's also, in this case, genuine, and it's cute. I like it.
So he says he'll take good care of it, and she's like, well, I know that you'll probably be really good at using the computer because he's already good at kanji and stuff like that. So if he does anything cool, she says to let him know. Oh, and also play dates, because he's just like, oh, can we also have play dates still? I mean, we don't live that far apart.
Yeah.
And then he starts installing the software, or signing into the computer for the first time, creating a username and password, and then he gets Neo from the Latin version of his name, and he just changes the O to a 0.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is controversial, but I put number 10 is One Piece. One Piece got the cover for this week's Jump. It got a color spread
Of a lot of characters that aren't in the same place.
I was gonna say, yeah, everybody's in different places entirely.
Yeah.
So Chopper is still heading with Big Mom to where Luffy is in Udon. We cut to Luffy still destroying everybody with his haki. We also see him reference Rayleigh. And Hio is just like, you, Rayleigh, what in Straw Hat? What in the world? Who are you?
Yeah, it's like, he's my friend.
Yeah, nonchalant. Yeah, we're cool. He trained me. But he's not being able to do the same type, I guess.
The minimalistic kind of hockey that can just take people out without
I guess
even moving his hand.
I guess it's just a glare.
Yeah.
So, an alternate version of the Emperor's hockey. And Queen is just watching. We need more numbers instead of like having like his upper generals go and try and fight Luffy. So I'm guessing this fight's going to be going on for a while because there's still like a ton of people still willing to fight.
Yeah, and Luffy he's just training. He's like, all right, I'm ready for the next match.
Bring
like,
it on.
This isn't supposed to be for you. This is supposed to kill you.
Punishment.
Moving across the land.
We go everywhere in these now.
Yeah.
I think that's why you also have to have like the map that explains, okay, they're here, this person's here. We cut back to Zoro with the bandit who stole his sword. His name is, he finally gets a name, Gyu Kimaru. And he explains to him the legend of the blade and that it was turned black over time, that Wano was known as the Gold Country.
But when gold and the pirate age came to be, they thought they were rich in gold, so a lot of pirates came by, attacked, pillaged, and really sullied the name, or sullied the land with their bodies. So samurais took a blade against them, and I think one of these blades was stained by pirate blood.
Yeah. We also see like a brief flashback to, I think I might have included that last time with the Thriller Bark reference, because that's where Zoro originally got the blade from, was from Thriller Bark. And we also see a mysterious woman. They still don't have a name for her. She's holding on to the little girl who was laughing.
Yeah.
During the Orochi when he went wild. We also have Kamazu appearing and also interrupting the fight between Zoro and them because Zoro wants to go and protect the woman and the girl. They start fighting.
Yeah, Kamazu is fighting Zoro, but then
the other guy,
the other bandit starts, you're wide open and like attack it from the other side. Like,
no honor.
Like you're an asshole.
You're a jerk.
You're a jerk. Stabbing me in the back. But Zoro's fighting against a guy using scythes as weapons. Zoro's only has his 2 blades because his third was taken. So he lets himself get impaled by one so that he can use the scythe as the third sword. And Purgatory Onigiri is great for essentially like the Grim Reaper's scythe kind of triple sword strike. I liked it. I love Zoro's names for his attacks. They're all kind of the same, but the way he fights is still really improvised.
Yeah, it's a good chapter, but other things came out this week. I felt
one thing to look forward there is maybe Zoro now knows that it was stained by by the black blood, maybe he will be able to cleanse that, and maybe a page he gets in color with his gold blade.
That would be cool.
I don't know. Something
Triple
to throw out there.
triple gold blade. Number 9, Haikyuu. Let's get those flashbacks going.
More flashbacks.
More flashbacks.
This time with Korai,
Mm-hmm.
the other little giant, the platinum-haired little giant.
Who was the second year, so he's technically older than Hinata.
Hinata.
You see his actual agitation that his last shot was blocked, and they were able to get a point block because of it. And you see the OG little giant looking over a program that has Korai in it as one of the players to watch. Things start getting serious. Korai lines up a shot and is able to actually land it this time.
The little improvements that he makes, the little calculations that he makes slightly differently is all it takes for him to really go from a block shot to a secured point.
Mm-hmm.
He's very tactful in that sense. But not because he's a genius. With the flashback, we see he's been working hard.
Yes.
Regardless of what people have been saying.
I'm just going to point this out now. He was wearing a knockoff Pikachu shirt.
Yeah. I noticed that. That was pretty funny.
He's constantly living in the shadow of his brother and his dad. Less so his dad. His dad's just tall. He curses the fact that he's short. So he decided not to do basketball because his brother was tall. So he opted to, instead, he was watching volleyball and thought it looked cool. Winds up going to a game with his mom. And while at a restaurant, actually jumps up in the air pretending like he's spiking a ball. And he gets a little bit older, and then his brother is a natural at volleyball. And it kind of disheartens him. And he goes back to saying he curses the fact that he's short, and he asks his mom, why am I the only short one? And she's like, I wonder, genetics? Because she's short too.
Yeah.
But just because they're short doesn't mean that they're not able to play at the same level as the taller people. Because they have their own strength. Just because they're weak for being short, it doesn't mean that they are. So you've seen that he's like improved himself over time to where he can actually compete at the same level. You see his determination through every single panel that he's in. He's always giving 110%. Anybody else could be giving 100. And you see that the score is actually getting closer and closer.
Yeah. And he's not the one that's making the points, but that's not what matters in volleyball. It matters how you set up your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And he really is making sure he's hitting every ball so that it's advantageous for his team.
He's known the fact that he's weak since long, long ago. And you also see the OG little giant basically saying pretty much the exact same thing, just worded differently.
Yeah. And knowing you're weak, or knowing that fact, can't dishearten you. So your resolve is that much stronger. So you can continue that kind of resolve throughout the entire match and then on. Whereas someone who's tall, something gets blocked, something goes over their head too tall, they're going to get disheartened, and it's going to change how they play. For someone who knows their own weakness, only makes them stronger.
I agree. Also, they will be taking a break next week. So
Yeah.
there will be I think 2 series are on hiatus next week. I'll just have to see which ones wind up not being it.
Boruto for sure.
Oh yeah, but that's monthly. Getting on to the next one, we have Demon Slayer.
This one was interesting for me, even though I'm still not caught up. One of these days. But
You've been reading it since we've been doing this, though. So you've read like the last 10 or so chapters. 'Cause
yeah,
we weren't recording everything back then, so that's why this is number 7 and not number 10.
yeah.
That being said, another flashback, but a different series. I like this flashback of actually seeing his dad, because seeing Tenjiro's dad was cool, and that he was actually relatively frail looking. That's
Yeah.
why he passed when he was young,
Yeah,
relatively young.
he looked weak. He looked malnourished. He looked a little too skinny.
But he was able to still do the dance of his family's lineage.
Every day.
Was it every day?
Thought it was every day. Through all these years.
Through all
never
these
thought it
years.
was
I think it was an annual thing.
okay.
So he would have to do it, but it was like a really long dance. It was like an all-day thing.
Yeah.
So when he was younger and he was in better shape, he would get tired doing it because of all the excess movements that he would do. The series really enforces the idea that you use a lot of movement or use a lot of energy using useless movements. So that's why they always say that like you practice something like 1,000 times, you'll eventually remove all imperfections from it. It's that kind of mentality. So that's why I really I like that. In that even though he's weaker, he's technically stronger somehow because of that. That's cool. And we see that he's able to see the invisible world, or the transparent world as it's called. And his dad wakes him up in the middle of the night because there was a bear that had been around attacking other people on the next mountain over.
Yeah, and they set up, a bell and string alarm,
Yes.
just in case anything that wasn't supposed to be there was moving. And just tight enough to where the wind and snow wouldn't activate them.
Oh, that'd be so annoying. And his dad goes up to the bear with just an axe, and it's just a regular hand axe. It's probably used for chopping wood, and its blade isn't. You've seen an axe. It's not as long as a sword. Like a sword can go through like a bear's neck, if the person was strong enough, no problem, because it's long enough.
Yeah, or maybe pierce through it.
Yeah, but an axe, you're kind of just stuck with one motion.
Yeah.
And stares him down. You see him concentrate, and then in a flash,
He waits for the bear to attack.
yes, cuts off his head.
Yeah.
Clean. And Tenjiro sees that it was 2 strikes, but they were in such quick succession that you wouldn't be able to tell that they were 2 strikes, and the head is just clean off. And his dad asks him, "Did you see that?" And now we're able to see that that was just a learning experience for him, and he's able to use this as a reference in the fight that's right now with the upper moon Akaza, and as Gyu's fighting him, he was able to see it ever so slightly when he dodged the last attack that would have been fatal, would have cut him in half. And he was able to see the transparent world, where it's like they can see the internal machinations, they can see the muscles, the brain, as well as, like, I guess, all the nerves.
Yeah, and some people can kind of do this in real life, where they can see certain muscles pulsate and grow tense. They can see what is going to happen next, if they're making a fist, if they're trying to swing their arm, or if they're getting ready to run. You can kind of see these kinds of muscles move. But this is going to the next degree of that.
Yeah, where he's able to move at an incredible speed, even faster than he'd ever been before.
Yeah.
So he will now use this to actually fight against Akaza. So I'm assuming that'll be like the next chapter, is he'll be using this new transparent world vision. And that should be really interesting. Kind of controversial. This is probably the lowest I've ever put this on the series. Is Promised Neverland is number 7.
Interesting. But yeah, pretty low.
Well, where did you put it on yours?
I had this at 7.
7-7.
Yeah. This is really a continuation of last week's.
Yeah.
Which is a continuation of what they wanted to say 2 weeks prior to that.
It's a long argument and a lot of exposition. It's great because you actually see how they work through everything.
Yeah. And they could be more truthful with Norman here because it's Emma and Ray and just Norman. And in most cases, even when they were much younger, Norman always had to buckle to Emma.
Mm-hmm. But Norman is still going to go through with his plan.
Of course.
Emma still doesn't want to do that, but he basically allows her to do her plan while he's doing his.
Yes. I'm not going to stop mine. I'm not going to delay mine. When the time comes that we need to do this, we will start on this. If you find a way to do your scenario and make stuff work for you without disturbing my plan, go for it. Just be safe.
Yeah, because
safe.
Emma's plan doesn't at first it sounds kind of far-fetched, the idea of going to the 7 walls, making a new promise, getting everything situated and corrected. Seems like it would be impossible. She also realizes that Norman has an enormous weight. He has everybody's lives on his back. So she tells him that he doesn't need to be God.
He doesn't need to be their savior, their God, their deity. Their
and
one
he looks
way
like the
out.
Pope. He really looks like the Pope in this chapter because there's a balcony. He comes out. He's wearing what probably is a white outfit. He looks like he's the leader of a religion.
Yeah, and he's making proclamations to all of these children.
Also, I forgot to mention this, but Mujika could almost be considered like Jesus or a Holy Mother figure.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that she was able to save the other demons that through like her blood, they were able to turn into people
to stave off
the degradation, the degeneration.
Yes.
So that being said,
I can see that parallel.
Yeah, that's basically Emma's plan, is to have them not kill off the Regents, kill off the king, and basically let the Regents live, give their blood, which has the Mujika blood in it, to where they can not degenerate from Norman's plan, and they won't have to eat humans anymore.
Yeah, one thing that I'm still thinking about, what happens if Mujika gives her blood to humans?
Oh. I don't know if anything would happen.
Maybe that is what happened to Adam and Vincent and Barbara and maybe Norman. Maybe because they got powers, essentially, like huge boosts, maybe they had a test amount of blood. That's why they made an entire farm out of it, to test out this blood.
Interesting.
But who knows?
Speculation.
But I do want to see her effect on not just demons, but on humans. Because Norman, he looks much older. He's as does Barbara and Vincent. But
time has gone on. I'm not sure what the timeline is at this point.
Yeah, but Emma and Ray still look so young, and they're supposed to be nearly the same age.
Yeah, you would almost think that Norman was like 2 or 3 years older than them at this point,
if not more.
Because they were going to be 12 when they left, and
a couple months went by.
Yeah, and then like a year and a half, so they're 14, 15.
No, I don't know, because that would put Ray on 13 because that was his birthday next.
He was going to be 12. He was 12.
Oh, he
was 11 turning 12.
Okay.
So when they left, they were about 12. So they'd be about 14 or 15 depending on I would have to get like a timeline for each time skip or whenever they say like months have passed,
Oh,
because they spent a lot of time in that shelter. They spent a lot of time when they were just searching around.
You're right.
There was the time between when they were at Goldie Pond, where just Emma was.
A lot more time has passed by than I originally
Had
thought.
thought. Well, because it seems like it's very quick, but it's handled right. Also, the seven walls, there's a way in, but they don't know if there's a way out. So that's the only thing that Norman's like worried about. But he basically says for Ray to take care of Emma, and Emma says that she's not going to leave him alone.
You'll never be alone again.
Yes. And they're going to go and do this plan now. I guess this is going to be Ray and Emma. I don't know if they're going to bring anybody else along. I would
think
assume
they will.
they'd bring Dawn and God, what is her name?
Gilda.
I think that they would bring those two along. However, since this much time has passed, I am curious as to what's going on at Gracie Farm, or Grace Farm. What's going on with Phil and them? Because by now they're actually over the age when they can be sent out, unless like there was some delay there.
Well, they were about 4 years old.
Mm-hmm. And since about 2 years has passed, they start sending kids out when they're 6.
Oh, right.
So some of those kids have got to be starting to go to be sent out. Either that, or they were opting to wait before they actually started sending people out, because of the mishap that happened where there was the massive escape. Or they might be waiting until they're 12, till they're fully matured. And
Because Phil knows this. If he's telling them all this, and they're all getting top marks, maybe they will force them to wait until they're all 12. If all of them are doing that well,
they'll want to get the best product possible.
yeah.
And thus concludes part 2. We'll resume this in part 3 soon.